thousands of years, the desire to conquer the unknown has never stopped pushing humanity to reach out into the vast world. That journey has taken people to the farthest edges of the planet, where breathtaking beauty reveals itself in ways almost too overwhelming to believe. But hidden behind the grandeur of nature and the awe of ancient wonders, there are always places filled with danger, where life and death are separated by only a single moment. These places don't just challenge the laws of physics, they become the ultimate test of human willpower and survival instinct. Today, let's step into a heart-pounding journey to explore the most dangerous places on Earth. Places so beautiful they seem unreal, yet carry a costly warning: you should never face them alone. Mount Hua, China. Clinging to the vertical cliffs of Mount Hua at an altitude of over 2,160 meters above sea level, the plank road in the sky is known as the most dangerous hiking trail on the planet. To conquer this wonder, you'll have to inch your way across rough wooden planks only about 30 centimeters wide. They are nailed directly into the ancient rock walls with iron spikes. Below your feet is a bottomless abyss with no safety net. Just 1 second of being paralyzed by fear or a mistake while clipping your safety harness is enough to make you disappear into thin air. Although it attracts over 1 million visitors a year, the thick fog and sudden gusts of wind make every step a breathtaking gamble with death. Without a companion, you'd be completely helpless against the mighty nature. Built in the 13th century by the Taoist master Haiku Stairs to seek absolute serenity, this path remains the most terrifying challenge for any traveler to this day. Angel's Landing, USA. Soaring about 454 meters in the heart of Zion Canyon in Utah, Angel's Landing is more like a vertical stone blade than a regular trail. It's also known as one of the most dangerous and haunting hikes in North America. the narrowest part, on the mountain's spine, the path is only a few dozen centimeters wide. On both sides are abysses more than 300 meters deep, enough to swallow anyone after just one misstep. The deadliest part is in the final kilometer of the journey. Here, you're forced to cling to iron chains bolted directly into the cliffside to overcome the paralyzing feeling of dizziness and sudden gusts of wind. Just 1 minute of panic or exhaustion without someone to help, and the line between a once-in-a-lifetime experience and a tragedy becomes thinner than ever. That's why you should absolutely not visit this place alone. Even with at least 17 reported deaths, Angel's Landing remains the ultimate desire for those who want to challenge their survival limits. Harihar Fort, India. Harihar Fort, located in the state of Maharashtra, India, is famous for one of the most treacherous staircases ever carved by man, straight into a rock face. It has a single path, just wide enough for one adult, while an abyss lies right behind you. Over the centuries, the stone steps have been worn down and become slippery. Just one slip of the foot is enough to send you free-falling into the valley with nothing to grab onto. The final climb consists of over 110 stone steps with a terrifying 80-degree incline. This structure turns the journey to conquer the 1,120-meter peak into a life-or-death test of both physical and mental strength. When facing the nearly vertical slope, paralyzing fear can hit you at any moment. If there's no one to guide your footing or help calm you down, you could get stuck on the cliff in a state of panic. Haiku Stairs, USA. Clinging along the Kilauea Range in Oahu since World War II, the Haiku Stairs is a structure with over 3,900 steel steps winding through steep terrain. However, this stairway to heaven is actually a death trap. harsh weather has eroded the mountain ridge, creating broken sections of stairs that hang suspended in mid-air. After every rain, the rusty handrails and slippery steps turn into a slide leading straight down into the abyss. Just one moment of exhaustion or a misstep on the decaying steel, and you'll become a lonely soul with no way out. Rescue teams have recorded dozens of rescues and serious injuries, many involving falls or hypothermia. Currently, access to this site is completely forbidden, with a $1,000 fine and strict enforcement of arrests. The Haiku Stairs serve as a stark warning. When the desire to explore meets decaying infrastructure, curiosity can become a death sentence. Respect the rules to protect yourself from nature's fury. Mad Honey Cliffs, Nepal. In the Annapurna region of Nepal, the steepest cliffs are where the most dangerous tradition on the planet still takes place every day, hunting for hallucinogenic honey. The Gurung hunters have to hang from hand-made bamboo rope ladders, dangling in mid-air at a height of over 100 meters to reach the giant honeybees, Apis laboriosa. Just one wrong move or a missed step, and the deep abyss will swallow them instantly. This species of bee is extremely aggressive and has a potent venom. A sudden attack can cause granotoxin shock right on the cliff, making the climber lose their balance. Besides that, tasting the honey without supervision can lead to a sudden drop in blood pressure or severe muscle paralysis. Over the years, this area has recorded numerous deaths and serious injuries. They seem to be a reminder that where culture, terrain, and gravity intersect, life is held by nothing more than a rope. Mingo Island, Kenya. In the middle of Lake Victoria, Kenya, Mingo Island appears like a stray block of floating rust in the Great African Lake. With an area of only about 2,000 square meters, this island is packed with tin-roofed houses crammed together. First inhabited in the 1990s, Nyiragongo now has one of the highest population densities on the planet. It's even considered a voluntary prison in the middle of a vast body of water. The security risk on Nyiragongo Island is extremely high. It's the center of a tense political dispute between Kenya and Uganda, where pirates frequently attack with weapons. If you travel alone, you could easily be suspected of being a spy or become a target for local gangs to extort money. The narrow, slippery gaps covered in fish scales and the steep, rocky terrain hide many potential dangers, while the harsh living conditions with diseases and the risk of fire are always waiting. A medical emergency here would be a death sentence, as the mainland is over a 2-hour high-speed boat ride away. Come to witness the fierce survival of humanity, but never be foolish enough to set foot on Nyiragongo without a team of professional security. Fort Monroe, Pakistan. Nestled in the Suleiman Range at an altitude of 1,972 meters, Fort Monroe appears as an enchanting stairway to heaven. However, the journey to conquer Hverdir Pass, an 80-kilometer mountain road with U-shaped hairpin turns, is a heart-stopping challenge. Locals still tell tales of an ancient curse from the Lagari tribe, that fierce winds will punish anyone who enters these mountains with arrogance. And indeed, the haunting memory of trucks losing their brakes has made Hverdir Pass one of the most dangerous roads in the region. Fort Monroe is also chilling due to its almost complete isolation. Spotty phone service, scarce medical facilities, and the long distance from major cities mean that any incident can become a life or death situation without help. Don't let loneliness turn your exploration of the Suleiman Peak into a tragedy. Go with experienced companions to enjoy the beauty fully and safely. Ling Road, China. Hidden deep within the treacherous limestone mountains of Guizhou Province, Ling Road appears as a chilling cut across a cliff face at an altitude of over 1,000 meters. Hand-carved into the mountainside by locals in the 1970s, Ling is only about 2 meters wide, but hugs nearly vertical cliffs. Every meter of the road is a result of courage, making this one of the most terrifying roads in China. The scariest thing about Ling isn't just the height or the precarious road, but the isolation in the desolate mountains. If your vehicle breaks down or you get lost in the thick fog, finding help is nearly impossible. For that very reason, Ling has a very different kind of beauty, wild, harsh, and making you feel just how small you are in the face of the mountains and endless abyss. Mount Nyiragongo, Democratic Republic of Congo. Deep within Virunga National Park in Congo, Mount Nyiragongo stands tall at 3,470 meters with the name the Gates of Hell. Its 2-kilometer-wide crater holds the largest lava lake in the world. The lava here reaches speeds of over 100 kilometers per hour, faster than almost any other volcano. White smoke covers the summit, and the strong smell of sulfur fills the air, making the scene feel even more apocalyptic. This place has a history of horrifying tragedies. In 1977, the crater wall suddenly cracked, killing 600 people in just 1 hour. Then, in 2002, another eruption wiped out 15% of the city of Goma. Besides the sharp basalt rock terrain and political instability, you also have to face the Mazuku. These are colorless, odorless pits of CO2 that can cause instant death. Nyiragongo is surreal in its beauty, but it's also one of the most dangerous places in Africa. This isn't a spot for spontaneous adventures, but a place you should only visit with a team of local guides and experts. Kawah Ijen, Indonesia. Located in East Java, Indonesia, at an altitude of 2,386 meters, Kawah Ijen appears with a beauty that is both mesmerizing and deadly. It's home to the world's largest acidic lake, with a captivating emerald green color, but a powerful venom. With a pH of just 0.5, this calm lake surface is strong enough to dissolve metal in a flash. When night falls, Ijen looks like another planet with its eerie blue fire phenomenon. Plumes of sulfuric gas ignite into waterfalls of neon blue fire up to 5 meters high in the darkness. However, that magical sight hides the painful reality of miners who are trading their lives in the toxic smoke. The place has also seen many tragedies, from tourists falling into the acid lake to miners dying from gas asphyxiation. Never explore Ijen alone. In a daze from lack of oxygen and toxic gases, it's easy to get disoriented or misstep on the steep cliffs. Kilauea Volcano, USA. Hidden among the tropical paradises of Hawaii, Kilauea stands out as a wonder that is both spectacular and terrifying, a place where the earth is constantly boiling right under your feet. During the day, Kilauea looks like a post-apocalyptic landscape with its 3-kilometer-wide crater and fields of black basalt. But when night falls, the place lights up with streams of orange-red lava flowing into the sea, creating one of nature's classic scenes. Behind that stunning beauty is terrifying destructive power. During the 2018 eruption, lava swallowed more than 700 homes in a short time, recalling the 1790 tragedy that killed hundreds of people. Besides the lava, you also have to deal with clouds of extremely toxic hydrochloric acid. They can cause blindness or damage your lungs instantly. Even the ground beneath your feet isn't truly safe. The layers of basalt rock can collapse at any moment, revealing glowing red, hollow lava tubes below. At Kilauea, the most beautiful view is sometimes also the most dangerous place. Masaya Volcano, Nicaragua. Feared by the 16th century Spanish as the mouth of hell, Masaya still stands today like a stone fortress near the capital, Managua. Though only 635 meters high, its Santiago crater holds a volatile lava lake, always on the verge of erupting. During the day, the summit is swallowed by a column of thick white smoke. When night comes, it transforms into a fiery eye, reminiscent of the ancient Korotiga tribe's human sacrifice rituals. Every day, Masaya spews tons of highly toxic SO2 gas. If the wind changes direction, you could pass out instantly with no one there to help. The terrain here is a maze of dry basalt rock with sheer drops and no barriers. A dizzy spell or a feeling of panic before the roaring lava flow could cause you to lose your footing at any time. The 2001 tragedy, when flying molten rock caused major injuries, is a stark reminder of Masaya's lurking dangers. Yet, it is this raw, deadly beauty that makes it one of the most haunting and captivating volcanoes in Central America. Hverir, Iceland. This isn't the surface of Mars. You are standing in Hverir, the most intense geothermal area in northern Iceland. At an altitude of 400 meters, the Earth's crust here is frighteningly thin. Mud pots boiling at over 200 degrees Celsius constantly churn beneath a thick white smoke that smells strongly of sulfur. People in ancient times believed this was where witches brewed their potions, but the reality is even more horrifying. Many tourists have suffered burns down to the bone when the thin crust of earth collapsed, causing them to fall straight into a boiling acid mud pot. The thick geothermal smoke and toxic H2S gas can also make you dizzy and disoriented in this desolate land with almost no rescue points. At Hverir, one wrong step can be enough to turn an adventure into a horrific tragedy. Never explore this place alone. Amidst the breath of hell simmering under your feet, going with a group might be the only thing that keeps you safe enough to return. Nazare Canyon, Portugal. Hidden beneath the coastal town of Nazare, Portugal, is a giant underwater canyon over 227 kilometers long and up to 5,000 meters deep, nearly 3 times the depth of the Grand Canyon. Instead of spewing lava, this V-shaped structure compresses ocean energy into waves as tall as a 10-story building. Nazare's terror isn't just offshore. For centuries, these waters have swallowed countless fishermen. Even top professional surfers have been pulled under by the immense pressure of the waves. Standing on the São Miguel Arcanjo fort, you can feel the ocean's power as sudden gusts of wind whip across the edge of the vertical cliffs. Just a moment of losing your balance or panicking, and an accident can happen instantly. So, admire this fierce wonder with experienced people. When you face Nazare, you'll understand one thing. The line between overwhelming beauty and deadly peril is sometimes just one step away. Gansbaai, South Africa. About 160 kilometers from Cape Town, Gansbaai is known as the great white shark capital of the world, where the ocean hides one of the fiercest predatory ecosystems on the planet. The heart of Gansbaai is Shark Alley. This narrow strait is home to over 60,000 seals, inadvertently turning it into a giant feast for ocean killers up to 6 meters long and weighing over 2 tons. It's not just the terrifying predators. The ocean currents in Gansbaai are also very cold and have an extremely strong pull. A small incident could get you stuck on this deadly food chain. Despite being famous for its cage diving tours, Gansbaai still holds many tragedies. From a shark directly attacking a cage in 2005 to deaths of solo surfers, these waters have never stopped being dangerous. And yet, it's that feeling of facing the monsters that rule the ocean head-on that has made Gansbaai a destination that adventure junkies dream of conquering at least once in their lifetime. Mariana Trench, Pacific Ocean. Located in the western Pacific Ocean, the Mariana Trench is the deepest known fissure on the planet. It's a crescent-shaped abyss stretching over 2,550 kilometers, deep enough to swallow Mount Everest whole. At Challenger Deep, nearly 11 kilometers below sea level, the immense pressure is about 1,000 times greater than the atmosphere on the surface. Just by diving past the 1,000-meter mark, light almost completely disappears, leaving only a graveyard with freezing temperatures from 1 to 4 degrees Celsius. Formed 180 million years ago, the Mariana is still full of mysteries, with strange moaning sounds coming from deep within the Earth. Although there have been no direct fatalities, the crushing of the multi-million-dollar robot Nereus in 2003 is hard proof of the destructive power of the pressure here. At the bottom of the Mariana, you are more alone than an astronaut in space. Be careful, because one small mistake is enough to turn your expedition into a tragedy in an instant. Oymyakon, Russia. In the frozen region of Siberia, Russia, there is a village named Oymyakon, known as the coldest inhabited place on the planet, with temperatures once plunging to minus 71.2 degrees Celsius. Originally a stopping point for reindeer herders in the 1920s, the village lies in a valley that traps cold air, where winter days last only 3 hours. At temperatures below minus 50 degrees Celsius, every breath you take can turn into ice crystals instantly. The air here is so cold, it creates strange crackling sounds that the locals call the whisper of the stars, which is actually a sign of death. If your car breaks down on the road, death from hypothermia will come in 10 minutes because the engine oil and GPS devices will be completely frozen. The isolation in Oymyakon is even scarier than the cold. The frozen condensation on your mask can make it difficult to breathe. Meanwhile, to dig a grave in the permanently frozen ground, you sometimes have to burn a fire continuously for days just to get it done. Chernobyl exclusion zone, Ukraine. If a real-life apocalypse had a specific shape, it would probably look exactly like the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Located in northern Ukraine with an area of 2,600 square kilometers, this place is like the dry skeleton of a civilization after the 1986 nuclear disaster. The epicenter is reactor number 4 and the desolate ghost city of Pripyat. This land marks the sacrifice of thousands of people and the terrifying omens of the blackbird with red eyes. Radiation still silently lingers in the soil, concrete and surrounding forests for decades. Without specialized measuring equipment and an experienced guide, you could accidentally step into deadly hotspots without even realizing it. Chernobyl is not just a dark tourist spot, but also a chilling reminder of the moment humanity lost control over nuclear technology. Amidst the absolute silence of that ghost city, the feeling of being alone can be scarier than any alarm that ever sounded on that fateful night in 1986. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. There are places on Earth that make you feel like you're stepping onto another planet, and Salar de Uyuni is one of them. No trees, no clear horizon, just an endless white space that stretches to the edge of your vision. Located in Bolivia at an altitude of 3,656 meters, Salar de Uyuni is the largest salt flat on the planet. Formed from a prehistoric lake 30,000 years ago, this place is linked to the legend of the tears of the goddess Tunupa. But behind that peaceful beauty lies a risky trap. The endless white space can completely disorient your vision. The 2008 vehicle rollover that killed 13 people is clear proof of the danger here. If your car breaks down, you could be stranded for hours or days in extreme temperature changes. Meanwhile, the altitude of over 3,600 meters can easily make you feel dizzy, short of breath, and exhausted if you haven't acclimated. Namaqualand, South Africa, and Namibia. Stretching across South Africa and Namibia, Namaqualand is an enchanting land at an altitude of over 1,500 meters. After the rains, the gravelly plateau suddenly bursts into a rainbow sea with 3,500 species of flowers in bloom. In reality, this is a land once engulfed in fierce diamond hunts. What's left are abandoned towns and mysterious stories of hidden warrior spirits. Beneath the carpets of flowers is a harsh, semi-desert environment with spitting cobras, extreme temperatures, and the risk of flash floods that appear suddenly after heavy rains. The vast space makes it easy to get lost on the endless dirt roads. If your vehicle breaks down or gets stuck in this remote area with no phone signal, the daytime heat and absolute isolation can quickly turn your exploration into a real fight for survival. Masai Mara, Kenya. Located in southwestern Kenya, the Masai Mara appears as an endless golden sea at an altitude of 2,170 meters. This place is a real-life death arena, where peaceful beauty quickly gives way to the shadow of hunters. The chilling laughter of hyenas, mixed with the roar of lions, creates a haunting soundtrack. The main kill zone is the Mara River, where thousands of giant Nile crocodiles wait patiently. In just a few chaotic minutes, the entire river can turn into a bloody hunt. Preserved since 1961, the Masai Mara is also linked to the culture of the nomadic warriors who have survived on this land for centuries. But nature here has never been truly safe. There have been many accidents when tourists were too careless around lions, elephants, or hippos. The scariest thing in the Masai Mara is the feeling of being completely outmatched by wild nature. In the endless sea of grass, you never know where a cheetah is hiding or where a pack of predators is moving in the dark. Ushguli, Georgia. Deep in the Svaneti region of Georgia, at an altitude of 2,100 meters, Ushguli will amaze you from your very first steps with its location at the foot of Mount Hua, Georgia's highest peak. From a distance, the village looks like an ancient stone chessboard with over 200 Svaneti towers. These stone towers, up to 25 meters high, have existed since the 9th century and were once used by locals as refuge fortresses. Behind that fairy tale beauty lies one of the harshest mountain regions. Snow can be up to 5 meters deep, causing terrifying avalanches. In addition, the road leading in is extremely narrow, muddy, and teeters on the edge of a chasm with no guardrails. Ushguli is as beautiful as an ancient legend that has survived in the Caucasus, but it's also a reminder that in wild nature, the line between hospitality and danger is sometimes as thin as a single step on the edge of a cliff. Poveglia Island, Italy. If Venice is considered the most romantic city in Italy, then Poveglia is like its buried shadow in the lagoon. Desolate, lonely, and haunting, this island has an atmosphere straight out of a nightmare. This place was once a burial ground for over 160,000 souls who died from the plague and for ill-fated psychiatric patients. The island's centerpiece is an ancient bell tower from the 12th century, where a doctor is said to have thrown himself to the ground after being haunted by what he had done. Although it attracts explorers, Poveglia is actually a death trap. The structures are decaying and ready to collapse at any moment. More dangerously, the ground here is made up of 50% human ash and bone, creating unstable sinkholes hidden under the moss. Poveglia's history has recorded many tragedies, like the group of American tourists who panicked when they got stranded in 2016. In this land, with no phone signal and no medical help, a small accident while traveling alone is enough to get you completely isolated in the vast lagoon. Island of the Dolls, Mexico. Located in the Xochimilco canals of Mexico, the Island of the Dolls appears like a hanging garden of lost souls. When you set foot on this man-made island, you can't help but get chills seeing thousands of dolls with missing limbs, blackened by mold, hanging everywhere. The Island of the Dolls is the haunting legacy of a man named Julian Santana. Starting in the 1950s, he hung dolls to appease the spirit of a little girl who had drowned. The story came to a gruesome end in 2001, when he was found dead in the exact spot where the girl had died years ago. Absolutely do not come here alone. Traveling solo through the maze of canals makes it easy to get stranded if your boat has problems. Facing thousands of doll eyes alone can trigger pediophobia, causing your mind to be paralyzed by hallucinations. In addition, the rusty wires and toxic mold from decaying plastic are deadly physical traps. Don't risk venturing in alone if you don't want to suffer the hauntings or bad luck curses of this land. Bhangar Fort, India. Hidden at the foot of India's arid Aravalli Range, Bhangar Fort appears like a cursed stone city frozen in time. This is the only monument that the government has forbidden entry to after sunset. According to legend, this 16th century sandstone complex suffers from the eternal curse of a sorcerer named Singya after being rejected by Princess Ratnavati. But the danger in Bhangar doesn't just come from ghost stories. The area around the fort is near the wilderness of the Sariska Tiger Reserve, where leopards and many other predators can appear at night. The decaying walls, broken rock ledges, and deep unfenced drops make moving around here extremely risky. And for that reason, Bhangar gives a very different feeling from other ancient ruins. It's not just a historical ruin, but more like a wound in time, still trapped in a fear that has lasted for hundreds of years. The world is full of mesmerizing beauty, but it can be just as brutal. The places you've just visited are a reminder that nature and history have limits that people shouldn't try to cross alone. After touring these deadly lands, which place do you think is the scariest? Would you be brave enough to set foot there once in your life? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next heart-stopping journeys. See you again.